On tonight's CTV News, Ellerslie sales are flat. Questions remain over the Eastern Aquatic Centre, and a city icon is feeling excluded. This is CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. The Labour Party is putting dollars in front of Cantabrians still struggling with insurance woes in an effort to secure voters in time for the general election.
$2 million. That's the price the Labour Party thinks it'll cost by Canterbury voters. The money would help fund test cases against the Earthquake Commission and insurance firms. But the Earthquake Recovery Minister Jerry Brownlee says the idea is cynical. He's calling for more information on the insurance problems Labour leader David Cunliffe has highlighted, so they can be solved without a need of heading to court. But Mr Cunliffe believes Cantabrians have done it tough over the last 3 years and wants to stand by those in need. He's pushing ahead with plans to develop Kiwi Assure, a Kiwi bank-style company for the insurance sector, which will help to provide competition in the market. But Mr Brownlee says the courts are expensive and take a long time. He'd rather solve problems before they got to that point. He also suggests $2 million won't go far in legal action. Labour's been on the campaign trail since last year. First, the party pushed to elect Putu Williams during the Christchurch East by-election. During that time, the party rolled out a number of policies. As well as Kiwi Assure, David Cunliffe wants to build 10,000 homes in Canterbury over 4 years. But as reported in the Christchurch Press, insurance lawyer and Labour member Duncan Webb is backing the latest policy, saying test cases are absolutely needed as there are so many questions remaining.
After a week of high emotions, Hagley Park closed the gates on the Ellerslie International Flower Show. Crowd numbers look set to be higher than last year, but may not be high enough to keep the event in Christchurch.
The future of the event has come under fire. Early indications show more people walked through the gates at this year's show, but was it enough?
We don't have a total as yet, so we're just working off what we saw at the show and numbers from the early days. So looks like we're going to be slightly ahead of last year at this stage.
The Christchurch City Council bought the event for $3 million back in 2007. But numbers have dwindled from when it made its first appearance in 2009. 75,000 people walked through the gates that year. This year numbers indicate only slightly more than 45,000 tickets were sold.
Yeah, we always want to get as many people there. I think for us the key thing is that we had a wonderful show. The feedback's been absolutely brilliant, and yeah, the more people who see such a good show, the better.
But in order to pull a larger crowd, organisers have been working on improving the show from previous years.
Last year we had some challenges with the quantity of gardens at the show, so that was our first thing, was to say we just got to tick that box. We need to support the designers, and just being a further year on as well, I think made it was easier for a lot more of the exhibitors, the designers, to take part in the show. So we got there on that. We had, I'm sure everyone who went along was thrilled with how many major exhibition gardens there were, and the other gardens as well, and the floral art, and so many components of the show was just in terms of quantity was there this year.
The show only wrapped yesterday. A summary of final ticket sales and profits will go in front of the council in March to determine how well it performed and if the future of the show remains in Christchurch.
We'd deliver the show, we'd deliver a great show, and then we'd review it and have that review to council within 10 weeks of the show. So I think that takes us through to about mid-May. So at that stage then we can look towards next year.
Organisers say feedback from the show has been positive, with a notable difference compared to previous years. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Questions remain after the Christchurch Mayor and the City Councillor raised concerns money set aside for an Eastern Aquatic facility was no longer available.
At last Thursday's Christchurch City Council meeting, Mayor Leanne Dalzell told the council table that she didn't know where to find the $30 million promised for the New Brighton Aquatic Centre. She said the money should have been going to the development of the centre, but had been reallocated to the Metro Sports facility. The following morning, Glenn Livingston was also concerned about the missing money, telling CTV News he suspected a high-ranking council employee who is no longer working at the council had moved the funding into the Metro Sports facility. Livingston had originally argued that all of the $70 million of QE2 insurance money should have gone into a new Eastern facility, but agreed to a compromise of $30 million, with the other half going to the Metro facility. He was angry the money had suddenly disappeared.
My fears are naturally the money could be lost.
Councillor Livingston was blaming council staff for making decisions without the rest of the council's knowledge.
We're still finding there are some default settings there where some decisions are made behind the scenes without councillors knowing.
Isn't that dysfunctional?
Yes, it is.
But Christchurch City Council staff were quick to shut down any fears, saying $30 million is still budgeted for the Eastern Recreation and Sports Facility, and $30 million of the QE2 insurance money is also budgeted for the Metro Sports Facility. Council Community Services General Manager Michael Aitken says the council's decision to develop a new recreation and sports facility in the eastern suburbs had not changed. The $30 million facility would provide a similar resource to Jelly Park. The council funding would be supplemented by $6.5 million from the Christchurch Earthquake Appeal Trust for water attractions such as hydro slides and rides. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
A local river faces the risk of contamination. That's if consent is granted to Ngāi Tahu for the land to be irrigated.
Over the next 25 years, Ngāi Tahu plans to convert property in the Huranui district into a dairy farm. Ngāi Tahu's Balmoral property near Culverden was granted a consent by Environment Canterbury in 2012 to convert it into a mix of dairy support, cropping and sheep and beef farming. Ngāi Tahu Forest Estates Limited is applying for another consent to convert 7,000 hectares into irrigated dairy farming. But with this conversion brings concerns about irrigating the land, potentially allowing a significant amount of nitrate pollution to seep into the Huranui River. Greens Party MP Eugenie Sage is calling for ECAN to examine the application and water pollution risks very carefully. A report from ECAN's Commissioner Margaret Baisley shows that even with the best practices in farm management, the rivers will become more polluted because of the land use change and the increase in cow numbers. Ngāi Tahu have promised to be committed to looking after the environment. Submissions close on March 21st.
Members of the royal family are making their way to Canterbury in April as part of their 9-day trip to New Zealand.
Prince William and his wife Kate will land in Christchurch in just over a month, spending their time in Canterbury paying tribute to those who were lost in the earthquake. The couple and their son Prince George are going to be spending 9 days in total in New Zealand. Their trip to Christchurch will be quick, only visiting for the day. They'll be based in Wellington at Government House. Prince William's last visit to Christchurch was a month after the February earthquake in 2011. This is the first royal visit to New Zealand for their 8-month-old son, Prince George. He's the same age as Prince William when he first travelled to New Zealand with his parents Charles and Diana in 1983. It will also be the first trip for the Duchess of Cambridge. Their itinerary is yet to be confirmed, but they'll be visiting the CTV Memorial Park and an event promoting the 2015 Cricket World Cup.
The Canterbury Agricultural and Pastoral Association are reporting a sound financial position following the release of their annual report. In the face of an occasionally fierce northeast wind, the 2013 AMP show boasted more than 95,000 visitors over 3 days. The event featured 570 trade exhibitors, along with nearly 6,500 livestock and featured competition entries. This year's AMP show will start on Wednesday, the 12th of November. Coming up, the Wizard is feeling excluded from the city.
The world has a great deal to tell. Journalists from across the world report on their home nations and the experiences of the people who live there. World Stories.
Love music, love summer? Then Ingham Lazy Sundays in the Botanic Gardens Archery Lawn is the place to be. Every Sunday from 3 p.m. through January to February, and it's all free. So make Sunday your day to soak up summer and take time to recharge with family and friends, relaxing in the beautiful Botanic Gardens. Listen to some great music and enjoy some of the many surrounding attractions. The perfect way to unwind. Ingham Lazy Sundays, putting summer into Sundays.
Are you looking for more from your local channel? CTV are online. Our latest listings, on-demand shows, program information, all on the CTV website. We'll see you there.
Avoid the cowboys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring, moving company.
It's on, like Taiwan.
Freeze! Police!
Get down!
Brandon!
Don't worry, I've got my vest. I'll just slip this on. That's better.
Europe in concert. A new, fantastic international artist performing every week. Saturday evening at 7 p.m, right here on CTV.
He's been an icon for Christchurch for years, but the Wizard is feeling excluded from the city.
Christchurch has undergone massive transformation over the years, especially since the earthquake hit in 2011. But there's one thing that remains the same, and he wanders around in a black cloak, pointy hat and long silver beard.
I don't change, the world does. I never change. That's why people like me so much. I'm the one thing left in Christchurch who has not changed a bit. I'm just the same as I was in 1974. 40 years ago I came, and I'm the last thing left of the old Christchurch. Me. Mayors come and go, prime ministers come and go, bishops come and go, and I don't. So I'm the icon now.
He's been an icon in Canterbury for over 40 years, taking to the city centre to advocate for Christchurch. He takes dozens of photos with tourists every day and casts spells on the young ones.
Oh, Great Spirit, look down upon these young children and send them flying dreams.
But before he became the Wizard, Jack was the first academic lecturer in sociology theory. But now he's officially the New Zealand Wizard, or Jack for short. He even has a driver's licence to prove it.
I'm the only wizard in the world that has any reason to be called a wizard, and that I'm trained at university, appointed by a Vice-Chancellor, and since 1990 appointed by the Government of New Zealand as an official wizard. So I'm a real wizard and not some idiot wearing a hat because he's a hippie and take too many drugs.
But while he's loved by the public, the city has been ignoring his plea to remain the official icon and attraction of Christchurch.
If I'm not in the guide, but when can I speak and where can I speak? No one knows I'm doing it. So the tourists will never know, even though they all ask questions, where's the wizard of the town? Where's the wizard? They can't be told because the council does not have any interest in what I'm doing at all, zero.
The Wizard isn't going to be around forever. Luckily, he has apprentices waiting in the wings.
This wonderful fellow turns up, and he's halfway there already. Ari, the apprentice, only a few weeks ago now, but he's been watching me for a long time. He's a Christchurch lad, and he decided it was for him too, and he could do what I'm doing and likes doing it, likes people, likes being mysterious and a bit weird, and loves the costume.
Those wandering past him take a second look at what they've seen. Many like to take photos, but generally he's a unique, interesting character of our city.
We've been just so excited to see him because it's the first time we'd seen him. We were here 11 years ago and we saw him in his little red back of the front car, and we had heard that he was back.
It was really cool. Yeah, it was also a bit funny. Yeah, he said that he did this spell that apparently gave us flying dreams.
It was amazing, and I heard that he was around, and I heard that was a really good thing for kids to see.
The Wizard and his apprentices aren't planning on going anywhere. They'll still be out and about in the city, regardless of whether they're featured in the guidebooks or not. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
The Christchurch Art Gallery's been out of action for 3 years since the earthquakes hit Canterbury. While above the ground the gallery looks fine, below the ground the foundation is off level. Until remedied, the building could be vulnerable in another earthquake. Patrick Phelps reports.
The art gallery hasn't had many viewers in its hall since the earthquake saw it become headquarters for the civil services in the aftermath of the quakes. Since then it's been undergoing structural repairs, and at the moment a big goal is getting it all levelled up. At the moment engineering company Oricon is playing a big part in the repairs and using techniques that haven't really been used in New Zealand before.
This is new technology for New Zealand. It's not new technology internationally, but to get this technology to New Zealand, you need to have a big problem.
A big problem like re-levelling a building the size of the art gallery, though the technique's already been tested on a building on Carton Mill Road. But what technology is being used, you might ask?
It's called jacking off grout. Now what we do is we create a 4-metre diameter column in the ground from the underside of foundations down about 10 to 15 metres.
The column is made by squirting high-pressure grout, a special mixture of cement and water, underground and using the natural soils below to make a cement column. On top of those columns they use a quickset grout, this stuff here, and pile it up like the pancake rocks in Punakaiki on the west coast. This is how grout looks when it's put together.
1, 2, 3. And that settles hard. So you go from liquid to solid in 3 seconds.
This Trimble survey equipment monitors 300 points around the building and the amount of grout being pumped in, as they don't want any part of the building to crack again.
We turn locations on and off where we want to lift the building, and we can handle probably probably handle over 200 locations independently of where we want to lift and where we don't want to lift.
All the information feeds back to a central computer system. In here they can see everything going on and control these pumps. They've been here a few months now and they're about halfway. Millimetre by millimetre, the gallery's on the up. Patrick Phelps, CTV News.
Years ago, New Zealand-made goods were commonplace, but no longer. Patrick Phelps speaks to a woman who produces and sells all her own merchandise right here in Christchurch.
This is where dual clothes are made, and this is where dual clothes are sold. All under one roof here at the Tannery in Woolston. And dual clothing owner and designer Carol Ellison wouldn't have it any other way.
We have a couple of machinists here, 3 cutters part-time plus myself, and I also do pattern making and designing in the corner over there.
With machinists employed, Carol Ellison doesn't do much of the hands-on work herself anymore, but she says one of the advantages of making clothes in the shop is that she can keep an eye on it all, and the customers like that too.
They love it. They can't really believe how real it is, that it's all happening here, and we do it from concept to end of product.
Some of the fabrics come from Italy, China, Malaysia and New Zealand. Carol Ellison says they try and get as much material from within the country as possible, but there's just not as much fabric being made here anymore. Their woolen products, however, are homegrown, and the customers really appreciate it.
The merino literally is grown in the mountains, milled in New Zealand and sold to us and other companies, and then we make it up. So it's never left from the garment. No part of the garment beside the thread has ever left the country.
Carol Ellison says one of the biggest advantages of making the clothes here is they can guarantee quality.
Then we can put a lifetime guarantee on the product, so people can come back if anything does go amiss. Sometimes we get the odd zip that doesn't function properly, so we've had garments 5 to 10 years old and people come back in and get them fixed up.
While there are advantages, there are the problems that plague all businesses.
Paying tax. We have quite, our wages are quite up there obviously, and so on that we have to pay PAYE and we have to pay, GST isn't exempt in wages.
Carol Ellison believes if wages were exempt from GST, it would allow small businesses to employ more people. Patrick Phelps, CTV News.
Still to come, we have the sport, traffic and weather updates. Every Tuesday night, I talk to the newsmakers and decision takers to get answers to the questions that have gone unanswered. It's time to listen carefully, see clearly, and understand the real issues. Join me for Point of View, Tuesday nights at 8:30 on CTV.
At Lamb & Haywood, we're committed to providing you with the very best environment at your time of greatest need. You can choose from the best facilities in Canterbury, our recently refurbished West Park Chapel, the Kerrs Road Chapel in Eastern Christchurch, or perhaps Waimana Chapel in Rangiora. However you remember, commemorate or celebrate the life of your loved one, whether it's an intimate group or a grand send-off, the choice is yours. Lamb & Haywood, a tradition of caring.
Make your next evening out one to remember at Tutto Bene Italian Restaurant and Pizzeria. Enjoy a lively, authentic, friendly Italian dining experience. Our dishes are made with fresh, local produce, prepared and cooked to perfection. Relax and indulge in mouth-watering Italian cuisine. With gluten-free and vegetarian options available, BYO wine is welcome. Tutto Bene. Dine in or take away. Open 7 days from 5 p.m.
Avoid the cowboys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring, moving company.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference More Mobility makes.
G'day, this is Fletch, your presenter of the TV show Classic Restos. It's the show where it's your chance to see completed restorations being shown, driven and enjoyed.
Well, the weather held up over the weekend, but did that help the performance of our local sports teams? Here's a roundup of the past couple of days' sporting action.
It wasn't a weekend to remember for Canterbury franchises, with 3 of our main sports teams failing to produce. It all began on Friday night when the Crusaders travelled to Eden Park looking to secure their first win of the season over an Auckland team who were looking to do the same. Things were going nicely for the Crusaders, with the match under control just before half-time, holding a 17-3 advantage. However, when the Blues were allowed to get the ball into the hands of their dangerous backline, the match was quickly turned on its head as the Aucklanders ran in 4 quick tries either side of half-time, eventually winning the game 35-24. It was the first win for the Blues since last May and ended a run of 7 losses. For the Crusaders, it's now back to the drawing board after 2 straight losses to start the campaign. The next match is on Saturday against the Stormers. The Trans-Tasman Netball League season got underway for the Canterbury Tactics on Saturday. Any signs that this season may hold different fortunes for the Tactics, who have been the competition table dwellers in the past years, were not to be seen as they took a 24-goal drubbing at the hands of the Waikato Bay of Plenty Magic. Tactics coach Lee Gibbs said her side will be taking a good hard look at themselves this week after the 70-46 home defeat. The Tactics committed too many turnovers on attack as they struggled to get the ball to their shooters on a regular basis, while the Magic shooters Joe Harton and Alan Halpenny had far too much room, which they were given from the Tactics defence. Life doesn't get any easier for the Tactics, who on Sunday are at home to title favourites New South Wales Swifts. And finally tonight, the Canterbury Wizards, fresh from their title win in the 4-day Plunket Shield cricket competition, got their domestic 50-over campaign underway yesterday in Timaru. The Wizards, who met at halfway to take on the Otago Volts, chose to bat first. A number of starts for Canterbury batsmen saw 5 players make it to 30. However, it was only Dean Brownlee with 65 and Peter Fulton with 62 that made any scores of substance. The string of handy knocks was enough for Canterbury to post more than a competitive 303 for 9 from their 50 overs. Timaru's Hamish Bennett took the wicket of Neil Broome just 4 balls into Otago's run chase. However, Hamish Rutherford and Michael Bracewell then combined for a 111-run second wicket partnership. Jesse Ryder then came to the crease and sealed the match for Otago as he brought up a ton off just 86 deliveries. He combined with Nathan McCullum for an unbeaten 114-run partnership to give the Volts a 5-wicket win. The next match for the Wizards is at Hagley Oval on Wednesday against the Wellington Firebirds. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Finlater for CTV Sport.
Well, if you're feeling frustrated about the traffic, you needn't be, because if you're driving around the central city, CTV's Traffic Update will assist you navigating the repairs taking place.
Hello Christchurch. A number of new restrictions will be in place this week on central city roads, and we suggest road users take some time to plan their routes before travelling to avoid delays. Madras Street is reduced to one lane from Morehouse Ave to Allen Street. Suitable alternative northbound routes include Montreal Street or Fitzgerald Ave. Durham Street is reduced to one lane from Peacock Street to Armour Street. There will be delays through this area at peak times. Fitzgerald Ave or Manchester Street are good alternatives for southbound travellers. Keep watching CTV News first at 5 to get the latest updates on the many changes that are happening on our central city roads. And remember to check the Transport for Christchurch website for further updates.
And also remember that we do repeat the roading update here on CTV at 7, 8, 9 a.m. and also at midday. Well, it's almost time for the weather. After a very cold start this morning, we seem to have avoided the hailstorms that were initially forecast for today. Will we be so lucky tomorrow? Let's check out our regional weather.
Kia ora everyone. A cold south to southwesterly airflow blows over New Zealand with a depression expected to deepen rapidly east of Christchurch tomorrow, bringing a very strong airflow onto the region. Let's take a look at the weather in your area. Kaikoura, gale force southwesterlies are likely during the afternoon and evening with rain most of the day, and will be heavier later in the evening. Tonight's low 7 degrees, with tomorrow a high of 12. Henma, it will be cloudy and cold with showers at times. Gusty southwesterlies may be strong during the afternoon. Tonight's low will be 7 degrees, with tomorrow's high at 12. Rangi ora kaipoi. Umbrellas may be pointless in North Canterbury, with strong gusty cold winds and plenty of rain about all day. Tonight you can expect a low of 7, tomorrow's high 12 degrees. Christchurch, a wet, damp and windy Tuesday in store, with strong to near gale force southwesterly winds during the afternoon and rain becoming heavier during the day. Tonight you'll see a low of 7 and tomorrow's high 12 degrees. Ashburton, wintry conditions for mid-Canterbury too, with a very cold, gusty southwesterly wind. Some rain expected with heavy falls at times during the afternoon. Tonight's low 7 degrees, tomorrow's high 13 degrees. Timaru, you can expect a cloudy and cold Tuesday with showers likely all day with gusty southwesterly winds. Tonight's low at 8 degrees with tomorrow's high at 14 degrees. In other areas now, well, most places can expect some showers and rain at times, with Culverden, Darfield, Methven and Leaston looking at 13 degrees tomorrow. Akaroa on a dismal 12 degrees, with Arthur's Pass on 16 and Greymouth at 20 degrees. Looking ahead for Canterbury, cloudy on Wednesday with showers and strong gusty cold southwesterly winds decreasing slowly later in the day. Cloud breaking and sunny periods increasing on Thursday with moderate southwesterlies expected. And that's your local weather update. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Well, it looks like a raincoat day tomorrow. That's CTV News for Monday. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.